Here's a weird one. At a distance, it looks just like a pack of 2 D-cell batteries, and that's what I thought it was at first, until you look closer, and it says Home Emergency Battery Candles. With the name Ready-Lite, they really are trying to look like a pair of Ever-Ready D-cell batteries. It even says D size right on the front there, and it has a cat on it, just like the cat in the Ever-Ready 9 Lives logo. But these are not batteries, these are candles. Long-lived, light and relight many times. Now the question is this just a novelty gag gift, or is it actually trying to be a legitimate product? Because it does say Home Emergency Battery Candles. Hopefully the blurb on the back will elucidate us. It says Home Emergency Battery Candles look like flashlight batteries. Reliable emergency light source for home, office, and camping. A unique gift everyone will appreciate. Remove paper before lighting. They were handcrafted in British Hong Kong by Jasco in 1978. And back then, D-cells were the most common size of flashlight batteries. In fact, they were commonly just called flashlight batteries. And unless otherwise specified, people knew you meant D-cells. So they really are being coy as to whether this is just a novelty product or if they really intend for you to use it. Because it does say it looks like flashlight batteries and says it's a unique gift, but then they keep going on about it's for home emergency use and you're supposed to remove the paper before lighting it, even though it looks like this shows it being lit with the paper still on. So let's open it up. Well, they definitely are candles. You can see they're made of wax. But they have like a metal pin in the bottom. And there's the wick. And that's the logo that mimics the appearance of the vintage Ever-Ready logo. This is a more modern one here, so it's not exactly the same. And the cat on real Ever-Ready batteries used to be quite a bit larger, so it was similar to this, but obviously it didn't quite look like that, nor would a battery say emergency candle on it. And again, handcrafted in British Hong Kong by Jasco, 1978. And on the side it has more general information about candles. Always burn in receptacle. Set on level surface away from drafts. Never burn unattended. Keep wick trimmed to about 1/2 inch. If flame is too small, pour off liquid wax. Avoid continuous burning. Do not use up entire candle. And there is the Ready-Lite battery style candle side by side with the real Ever-Ready D-cell battery. I know it says you're supposed to remove the paper wrapper, but first I just want to see if it will actually light using these very old A&P matches. Well, it does. Oh, is it going to go out? It just barely lit. And it extinguished itself. So, I don't know. Well, that was a dud. Let me see if I can relight it. Okay, is it going to last this time, or is it also going to go out? There's not much of a flame there. If that's how big the flame is, it's not really going to serve any purpose. I mean, you're not going to be able to see by that little amount of light, nor is it going to provide any appreciable amount of heat, even to just keep your hands warm. So if you're truly using this in an emergency, you're not going to fare too well if that's all the flame you're going to get from it. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's see if the second one fares any better. And this time I actually will peel off the wrapper since it was already frayed at the edge. So, really it's just a conventional wax candle except for this metal thing in the bottom. I suppose that's what the wick is mounted to. Let's see if this one provides a bigger flame and actually stays lit. Come on. Okay, that's much better. So was it really just the wrapper still being on? The reason why this one didn't work? Now I'm going to do a life test comparison between one of these Ready-Light candles and a conventional incandescent bulb flashlight running on 2 D-cell batteries. Now, to be fair, back in 1978 when this battery candle was made, most flashlights would be running on conventional carbon zinc batteries instead of alkaline batteries. Nonetheless, I'll compare how long they last. Needless to say, you should exercise caution when burning candles, so I'm going to put it in this aluminum baking pan, so even if it tips over, it's not going to come into contact with anything flammable. Actually, I just found this vintage Eveready flashlight, and you can really see how they purposely made the Ready-Light logo look like the older Eveready logo. Okay, it's time to start the test. Start my timer, and I'll come back in about an hour to see how they're doing. There they are with all the lights off, so you can see the flashlight is considerably brighter than the candle. It's about an hour later, and so far so good. I don't notice any real difference in the light output of the flashlight, while the candle flame has actually gotten quite a bit taller, although obviously it has melted down a bit. But both still have quite a bit of life left. A few minutes past 3 hours into the test, and I'd say the candle's about half used up, and I've started to notice a reduction in brightness from the flashlight. Now, of course, we got 2 candles in that box, whereas the 2 batteries went into the 1 flashlight, so you could double the amount of time per package with the candles versus the flashlight. So in that scenario, I don't know which one would win, but I'll keep going to find out. Just over 4 hours into the test, and we're still going. If I rotate this a little bit, maybe you can see, I'd say about a third of the candle is left, and the flashlight is still putting out a decent amount of light, so let's see how long they'll last. And candles generate heat, don't they? So I got my teapot. I filled it with just enough water to make a cup of tea. And we'll see if the candle is able to bring it to a boil. Well, 1 candle wasn't going to cut it, especially how far down it is now. So I managed to get the second candle relit after cutting away some of the wax. So now let me try again with 1.5 candles to heat the water. I was about to give up and switch over to my electric kettle, but when I opened this flap, there's steam coming out of it. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes to see if it can at least get a nice hot cup of tea out of it. You probably can't hear it on camera, but I am hearing some bubbling noises coming from the teapot, and there's a steady stream of steam coming out of it. So I'm going to call that good enough and pour my cup of tea. And enjoy it. And just in time too, because that first candle's pretty much completely melted down and it's just running on the liquid wax at the bottom of the baking pan. Oh yeah, that tea is piping hot. And it's interesting how much faster the second candle melted down compared to the first one. By this point, they're really just two wicks in the same pool of melted wax. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up extinguishing at almost exactly the same time. Oop, I just missed it, but the candles went out somewhere a bit shy of 6 hours into the test, while the flashlight is still going. You can see how the candles ran out of wick before they ran out of wax. So if they were shaped taller and thinner, instead of being confined to the shape of a D-cell battery, they would have been able to last longer. The flashlight is still on after 8 hours, but is getting quite dim and starting to flicker a bit. Plus it's time for me to go to bed, so I'm gonna call it a night and stop the test. Now we've learned that a flashlight powered by 2 D batteries will give you a few more hours of lighting than 2 candles made to look like D batteries. But the flashlight won't keep you warm or make you a hot cup of tea, so I think that's a win for the candles.